Hi guys, this is Michael from Bridge Channel, and today we're going to talk about AP Bio Unit 3, Chapter 1, the cellular energy and metabolism. Let's jump in. So the first thing that we're going to learn in this chapter are kinetic energy and potential energy. So kinetic energy are the energy that comes from the motion, and potential energy are the energy that are stored. The biggest example for potential energy would be uh, location energy, or the energy that an object gets when it's on a certain location. Now we're going to learn about chemical energy. Chemical energy are the potential energy inside the bonds of chemical, or bonds of like molecules or bonds of different substance. And the most famous example for this will be ATP, because ATP are the bonds that are linking the phosphate group. And if you look at this part, ATP looks something like this with the nitrogen base, 5 carbon sugar, and 3 phosphate. And the bond that connects to phosphate are the place where the energies are stored. And if this bond gets broken, and if the ATP turns into ADP, then the energies are released, and that's how energy are used. Now let's talk about the law of thermodynamics. The first law of thermodynamics are that the energy cannot be created or destroyed. It just simply means that energy cannot appear so suddenly, or if energy can just like vanish. Energy always comes from something else, and it can never get created or destroyed. And the second law is that entropy increases in universe. Entropy is the degree of disorder, or a measure of the number of positions and motions a molecule can take. So this is a little bit complicated, but second law simply means that universe always gets more or less organized. It never gets more organized, and we call that entropy increasing. So to be more specific, if we if there's a certain chemical reaction that's going on, then entropy always increases. Entropy can never decrease. And entropy is different from something called enthalpy, because enthalpy we're going to learn this later, but enthalpy are the energy required for the chemical reaction. So if we talk about entropy, entropy always increases in universe, and universe always gets less organized as time passes. Now let's talk about the bonds and energy. So when we are trying to break a bond, then energy needs to be input. Energies To break a bond, energy are required. So, and when the bonds are formed, energy is released. So what I mean by this is that when you try to break a bond inside a molecule and turn water into something else, then you need to input the energy to break the bond. And when the bond is getting broken, for example, then the bond releases the energy to the environment. And yeah, that's how it's happening. You gotta memorize this part. So to repeat this, to break a bond, you need energy. To form a bond, you are releasing the energy. Let's talk about the direction of reaction. So direction of reaction is determined by the concentration of reactants and products. That's all you need to know. There's also something called Gibbs free energy, and this is the amount of energy available to do work. Now let's talk about exergonic and endergonic reactions. So exergonic reactions happen when the Gibbs free energy of the reactant is higher than the product. Then this means that the Gibbs free energy is going down, and it releases energy to the environment. And this happens spontaneously. When we talk about endergonic reaction, the reactants Gibbs free energy is lower than the product's Gibbs free energy, which means that uh, the oh, the energies are required for the endergonic reaction, and these happen in non-spontaneously. And in living systems, they are often coupled, and when endergonic reaction happens, exergonic reactions also happen too. Now let's talk about the metabolism. Metabolism is all chemical reaction in cell that converts molecule into other molecule and transfer energy. So basically, metabolism means that all chemical reaction in cell. And to fix something about exergonic and endergonic, this really doesn't come out in AP Bio specifically, but it's good to know. That's all for today's chapter, and have a great day.